Can anyone catch them, do you think?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, unbelievable. We didn't expect that.
As unbelievable as it sounds, this is another Arsenal podcast. That is the Away Gunners podcast. We bring news and reaction from Arsenal fans from all over the world. On this episode of the Away Gunners podcast, me, Arun, Ellen, and Deepak get together to discuss the impressive win against Chelsea and the grinding out of the result against Brighton. I go up on a war against Ellen and Arun regarding the opponents performing badly against us. We continue our discussion on the goals scored against Chelsea and the captainship quality of Tierney. We heap praise on the youngsters Saka, Smith-Rowe, and Martinelli and the impact they have had in recent games. We finish the pod with our predictions for the upcoming game. Do check out. It's a happy high for everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Away Gunners podcast. We have got Deepak back again with us and our regulars Arun and Ellen with us. Hi guys.
Hello.
I think Picasso is finally happy because he got his winning prediction spot on.
Yes. I predict, like, even in my mind, I predicted the Brighton win. So it's like two of the things I predicted, I won. Yes. But Ellen, welcome back. You missed actually the before the Chelsea game thing, and you said on the WhatsApp that you were predicting for Saka scoring and Lacazette scoring. How it felt after saying that?
No, it was like I felt like I missed the last part because you don't get Saka goal scoring prediction spot on. It's a very rare thing to happen.
But what's your reaction?
It might not happen again for another 20 years.
Yeah. No, see, I thought it was like a happy Christmas present. Which will not happen regularly.
Come on, it has to happen regularly. In fact, Deepak, I will come to you for the quick reaction, because of the Chelsea game, right? That marks that Arteta has won a lot more against the top six than any other, like the bottom six or any other part of the table. So what's the reaction after the game for you?
Yeah, that was we played really well. That was one thing which I would say. And I wasn't completely convinced about the performance which we had. One was it was a penalty.
Second come on. Come on, the performance was really good. I mean,
it was good. It was good. I wouldn't say it was great. Let me put it this way. It was a good performance because it looks great for us because we have been playing so bad for a long time. So maybe that's why it looks like a great performance.
But
so first it was like a penalty, but it was a great pass from Saka to release Tierney on the left. And for me, it was a penalty all day long. I don't know what.
We'll get on to that discussion of the penalty somewhere down the line. But yeah, I mean, it was a great win. Come on, be happy for it.
Yeah, the performance was. I'm happy. I'm not saying I'm not happy, but it was a good performance. I wouldn't say it is a great performance. I'm really happy that we won against Chelsea, and I'm even more happy that we won at last. That is the more thing which makes me happy.
Yeah, and we followed that up with a Brighton win today. So that shows that we are at least making one step forward.
Yeah, as I said in the WhatsApp group, after the Chelsea win, it would be meaningless if we don't win against Brighton. Glad we won. So that is a big thing for Arteta. So in the previous podcast, I said, right, even if nothing happens in the Chelsea game, the next coming games against Brighton and Newcastle or West Brom is more important for him. Good, we started with a win. Hope we kick on from here. And
the important thing is
go ahead.
The important thing is Brighton is our bogey team. The last 5 games against them, we have just got 2 points, and our winning percentage is around 17% with them. So it was like a very important victory for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is really a good period. We have never fared so well in this Christmas period. It's always
Yes.
so it is always for us, it has always been the injury time for us, and for some reason this time it's the opposite. We are getting our injured players back now, especially Martinelli coming back now. Partey is almost back, so it's kind of a mixed bag feeling about it. Arun, what was your reaction after Chelsea win, and what it
Well,
is
just
today?
just just before I begin about the win, you were talking about like the Christmas break and how we struggle usually.
Hmm.
Before going into Christmas break, we're already like almost at rock bottom. So I don't know how deeper further we could have gone after that, like with any injuries or whatever we could have done.
It's
So
Arsenal. We would have found a way to do that.
yeah, I mean, like, thankfully we did not. So in that sense, like, I'm very happy considering the history of what we've done before during this period. But yeah, looking at the games, two games, winning two games in a row. I don't know when was the last time we did that. Maybe like beginning of the season, we won two games in a row, and after that, we haven't done anything since. So that it's big. It's definitely big, and but I won't overstate the importance of these two wins because Chelsea, yeah, we played well, but if you think about it, Chelsea were not in the game at all. I'm not taking anything away from what we did, but Chelsea made it a lot easier for us. And like Deepak said, if had we not won the Brighton game, it would have been completely pointless. But forget about where we are and forget about where they are. A Brighton away game, though they are the boogie team, is something that we would expect us to like take at least 1 point of, right? So, I mean, yeah, it was good. I'm not taking anything away from the victories, but it felt like these should have been like it was like it should have been done. It's not like uh, I don't know how to say it. It feels great having won those two games, but it seems like these are the games that we should win. You know what I mean? Like given
Chelsea,
how
really, you think that we
no
should
no
be
not
winning
Chelsea,
against
not
Chelsea?
Chelsea. The one after the Brighton game,
Yeah,
not
Brighton
Chelsea.
is something that we should be winning, but the
Yeah.
only concern is
Oh,
the the
And the
period.
Chelsea game too. Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry to cut you off. The
yeah,
Chelsea
go ahead.
game too. Once we started playing the game, it was clear that they were not doing anything. Like we made fewer mistakes because there were fewer opportunities for them, if I could put it that way. They are. It was not because we were playing badly or we were playing good that they were able to not create chances or they were making mistakes. It was just that they just stopped playing the game. I don't know what Chelsea did for like almost an hour in the game. Like the first 10 minutes was something, and then from minute 11 to almost 71, they were not in the game at all. Like I don't know even I cannot even remember one good play or one good attack coming from there. Again, not taking anything away from the victory, but it just felt like it had to happen at that point. The victory had to happen at that point. Once we went 2-0 up, once Xhaka scored that free kick, it never seemed like we were going to lose the game.
Oh,
So
really? I was very,
yeah,
very nervous during the
for me, till the
last 10
last 10,
minutes.
yeah, for
Yeah.
me, till the last 10 minutes, it never seemed like we were going to lose the game after that. Because of the confidence with which, because uh, usually when a team scores a goal going into the half, it's a huge thing for the team, and that's exactly what happened when Jaka scored that goal. It improved our confidence. It doubled our confidence at that point. Those are usually the times when we're very vulnerable. When we score a goal, we let out an equalizer very early. But we did not have to do that. That's what I want to say. There was no situation for us to like panic. You score a goal, there was no situation for us to panic. Nothing was happening from the other side, which would have forced her to any mistake. So in that sense, it just felt like these two wins were good, and it wasn't like again. I don't want to understate the importance of the win, but at the same time, I don't want to overstate it, hyping it up so much that yeah, this is going to set our season on track, and this is like
No, I mean, I'm not saying that this is going to change anything or this is going to make us finish somewhere. I mean, that is still a long way to go, but it is still a win on the
yeah,
back
yeah,
of a very good
definitely,
performance
yeah.
from a
The
position where we did not expect this team to perform this well. So
definitely,
they
definitely.
just changed our performance, and I mean the opinion from the fans, the whole
way the club was going, in putting it in Wenger's term, they arrested the slide. They stopped.
Yeah, sort of. I would say that. Yeah, even in the Brighton game, it was the first half was almost nothing. We were not there in the game at all, and something happened in the second half. So it's still like something that's being developed and in progress, but it's very good. These two victories at this point are really very good for the morale of the team that is not won in a long time. One more thing that I thought about the victory was like, remember when we won the United game, after the game, we were discussing this point. Were we really strong? Or did they stop playing at all? And did they whether we it was watching the Chelsea game was a similar sort of a situation for me. Like I was not able to really see if we were really playing well and we were really strong, or was it Chelsea like making things easy for
Playing
us
bad.
at all, you know?
I vote for the second option.
No, but that's the same point I keep bringing up, because there is been always this talk about that the other team, like even the Leicester game, right? They were not playing really well. The Leicester game, let's be frank, it's not a game that we should have lost. They had one good play, that is play the ball out to Vardy and he'll score when he comes in. And they did it. We all knew that, and they did it. It's happening so much against us that Leeds, Leicester, that there has been all these teams that has been having bad games against us, which if I look at it, it does not mean that it's all a coincidence. It cannot be a coincidence that all these teams, when they play against us, are playing bad. That cannot be a coincidence. There is something in our team that is pushing these teams to be bad on that day.
Okay, no, yeah. I knew you would bring this up. I'll just like give this one point, and I'll give the floor to anyone else. If you look at the Leicester game, Leicester played a low block coming into the game. But the low block, they were not as bad as or as non-existent in the game as Chelsea were at any point in time. They let us have the ball. They let us play, knowing fully well that we would be very vulnerable on the counter. And like you said, if Vardy gets a chance, he's going to score. How many times were Chelsea actually able to do the same thing against us in that 1 hour period that I'm talking about? From minute 11 to 70, how many times were Chelsea able or did even attempt to make any plays? I'm not saying that we did not let them play. No, the thing is,
that's the same thing,
Leicester
right?
did not want to play. Leicester did not want to play.
Yeah, that's the same thing, right? They don't want to play is also a testament to our playing methods, right?
Not exactly, Picasso.
But the thing is, they know we'll give them a chance. So they're actually making use of a weakness at that point. If a team attempts and they get it, and that shows that they're making use of the weakness. When a team is not attempting at all, that shows the lack of intent. In the former case, Leicester had the intent. They knew they could do it. They were waiting for a chance. They knew they could attack. They let us take attack for 45 minutes, and then they took it. Chelsea game, they waited till like 85 minutes. That's a totally different scenario when you think about it. Us not letting the other team play and having the ball, and us, like having the ball with the other team not doing anything at all. So
I'm still not convinced that Chelsea was that bad. Yeah, go ahead, Ellen.
No, like I'll add few more things. When you say it is not a coincidence, right? Like other teams playing badly and still defeating us convincingly, which is also not a coincidence. Then, if you take the same yardstick.
Yeah, I mean that is the concern that we have. That even in last pod I mentioned that we don't look like a team that could score more than one goal. That is the concern that I have with our team, because if the other team is going to take at least one chance, if they are going to get at least one chance for them to score, we have to be able to, score more than one goal. That's how it works, and our team doesn't look like we can score more than one goal.
No,
and yet we were able to score 3 past Chelsea, which shows how well they played.
Still, I'm not 100. We could have put in more goals against them. We could have like if the Elneny shot went in.
Exactly my point.
And I'm not very sure that
Chelsea did not do anything at all.
Even today, right? Even today, you think as is Brighton, you think that one goal is we deserve just one goal. Do you think today against Brighton we deserve just one goal?
Definitely.
Oh, really? I thought we
Yes.
deserved at least like one more. Especially because Auba was being wasteful. If Lacazette would have been there to convert Auba's chances, I thought we could have scored one more.
See, we are still talking about lot of ifs. Why did Laka didn't start an Auba start? Because with the current set of youngsters, right, like who are always going to attack the final third, Laka will be much more useful than Auba. So like we didn't start like Laka, we started Auba. That's a mistake. And when you make mistakes like that, right, like you're bound to score less. You're bound to like get defeats. So since it was Brighton, like we didn't get punished much. Like imagine if it was like say Spurs or like a Liverpool or even City, like we would have been punished for not starting Laka.
But
also, one more thing is like Brighton, they rested 3 of their main players.
Main players.
Like their starting 11, they rested.
Welbeck, Solimarch.
Yeah. And what Mope, the guy who always gets on our nerves. They didn't even start their best players. So
yeah, we didn't start our best player too. Gabriel isn't available. Partey isn't available. So Partey and Gabriel, we didn't have our two best players.
Those 2 people are injured. Brighton just simply rested those players. They didn't even want them to start against us.
Yeah, I mean it's okay. We at the end of the day we have won it, and we didn't ask them not to start them, right? It's what we can only beat the team that's in front of us. And we played all 17-year-olds, and we still won against them. So
I'm not saying we didn't play well, like not good against Brighton. We were good against Brighton, but not as like convincing. Like
because of what Deepak is trying to say is like he's not taking any credits of the win, nor like he's saying this win is bad. But what he's trying to say is like how you pointed out, like even in the losses we were good. It is not the case. We were actually bad during those periods.
No, I'm not.
It was
I'm not saying
clueless.
No, I'm not saying that we were good during the losses. But what I'm saying is that it cannot all be a coincidence. That's what I'm saying.
In that case, right?
It cannot.
In that case, right? Unai Emery is still better than Saka because not Saka, like Arteta, because like his stats were much more better. We were like able to score, and like we were like literally conceding the same. Only difference now is like we have people like Gabriel and others who are preventing like the goals, but the number of shots, all of those, right, are still the same. And if you take Spurs game, right, if you just go by like whatever you said, like it would look like we have attacked them continuously in the second half. They didn't even do anything. But in the reality, they didn't even try anything because they know they are going to win for sure.
Yeah,
that's the thing is happening with Leicester, right? If you take, they didn't have body for their match. Their entire attack is based on him. So they played with the strategy of allowing us to do everything. And finally, once body came in, like they just used that as our weakness, and they just like won the game. Same if you take Liverpool, right? Like they were not like pushed much, like how they were doing with others. They were giving us the ball like a lot of times. We missed a lot of shots on that day. I'm not denying that. Like we were good that day, but we were still not capable of like definitely scoring or definitely winning those matches. We were like having possession. We were trying to attack, but we don't have an end product for that because we lack there.
So if you see the first, but if you see the game against Brighton, the first half, first 10 or 15 minutes, we had about 75% possession with nothing to show. Like nothing was coming at the end of it. So it's these sort of things. It's like when the minute Brighton started getting into the game, it made things more difficult for us. It wasn't like it seemed like, okay, they chose not to play. And then once they started playing, we were struggling, for the rest of the first half, we were struggling. So that's what I'm saying. Like when
my point here is that I'm not saying we played better. I'm not saying we could have won those games. I'm not saying anything of that sort. My point is that, these teams that come to play against us are coming up with this strategy of letting us to have the ball and then going for that 1 or 2 scraps that they get. That cannot be a coincidence, right? The same Leicester team that scored 5 past City, is it? Yeah, they scored 5 past City. The Leeds team today, they scored 4 past someone else. So these teams that always want to score more than 3 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, and they are coming to our games with a strategy that they want to score 1 or 2 goals.
Leeds
And
was
that cannot
Leeds
be a
game was
coincidence.
different. No,
That
Leeds
cannot
game
be a
is a different
coincidence.
one because Leeds game, like if you take the same match, Leeds game was completely different because they were not sitting back. They were actually like attacking us, and like because of their poor finishing on that day, like it was not a huge score, or else it would have been like a 5-6 goals against us on that day. Like they were completely attacking us. Like we were even afraid to do like what to say, pass from the back on that day because of Leeds. So Leeds game don't say the same thing because they're completely dominating us on that day. Just because of their poor finishing, the scoreline doesn't say that. Yes,
No,
the other games,
other games. I'm
do
just
that.
saying that the same against other games. Let's take even Leeds
No,
away. Like
that was
Leicester didn't
because
want to. I
no,
mean,
that
they
was
could win 1-0 against us. They could also win 4-0 against us or 3-0 against us. Not just Leicester, Liverpool or City or
no,
Chelsea or any team that we
no.
play.
Consider
Spurs.
this.
All of them, even Spurs, we are saying that
No.
they let us off. Right? They didn't
No.
play.
Let us see. Take few things because so like if you take a City game against us, right? City were like not having the regulars. They didn't even have KDB for us, so they had to play a different game because like they were also on the losing spree at that time, and they had to play a different game to like come back. They didn't have their main players. See, that's the scaring thing. Many of the team are not playing like to their potential. Many of the team are not playing like without their main players, and we still say that like we have played better, but we didn't win it. Like it doesn't make sense. Like even your argument, right? When I take all of this into picture, it doesn't show us in good state because like they are not playing well.
No,
They
I'm
are not
not.
having their best
See,
players.
I'm not saying that we are playing well. We have played well in these games, or we deserve
No,
something from these games. I'm just saying it cannot be a coincidence that all
no,
these
that is what
teams.
I'm saying. No, that is what I'm trying to say to you. All these teams, right? They consider us to be weak because they doesn't want to play their A game to defeat us. In this COVID period, right? In this back-to-back games period, people all need like their main players to have more energy for all the matches. Like wherever they can do an handbrake or wherever they can stop playing their with their maximum energy, right? Like every team tries to do that. And with us, right, most of the teams are doing. That means like we are playing bad and they are confident. Even if they play that way, right, they're definitely going to win us. If you take Spurs game, it was clear like there will be like an Son to Kane or a Kane to Son pass, and in a counter attack, and they will score. And that's what they did. And once they got the second goal, they decided, okay, this team will not score 2 goals for sure. So why not like preserve our energy? And they just did that.
Okay,
So that is my argument.
I am
the other
still.
teams are confident that
I am still not convinced of that, because if that is how teams see, then there would not be a score of 6, 7, 5. This season, there has been crazy scores everywhere. And if teams feel that way, they wouldn't have
but if you
scored
see
that way
that,
against other teams. Like
no, but if you
against,
see that other teams, right, like they didn't stop like going from say level 5 or a level 4 attack to a level 2 level of play like with the other teams, because they are worried like if they go down, like the other teams can come back and they want to finish off that game clinically. Whereas with us, right, like no team is worried. Like say even like say a smaller team, right, they fancy the chances against us now because they know like say by a set piece or somewhere like if they score 1 goal, they'll definitely win. That's the confidence the other teams are having. Like see, now we are with the youngsters, right, we are pressing more and everything we are saying, but this is like a forced situation where like Willian, Gabriel and others are like not available. But once they come back, like I'm not sure what will be the thing. Like say once Willian come back, like you have to drop one off like Emile Smith Rowe or like Martinelli, and without like that player, right, I don't think the same team will be like attacking much.
Yeah, I mean, agree to disagree, I guess. But let's move on about the game, though. Deepak, I was about to ask you about the Tierney penalty incident. You touched upon it a little bit earlier, that it was a penalty for you for sure. But the whole commentators were going, it was not a penalty, and even the pundits were like, it was not a penalty. So walk us through on that. What do you think? Why do you think it's a penalty, and why do you think the pundits think that it's not a penalty?
For me, like the pundits always have something against us. So it is always that case.
Agenda against Arsenal.
Yeah, it has been always the same, like for like
They're pretty salty all the time. The pundits are always salty, especially Hetsubank, man. Oh my god. Yeah.
See, the pundits support Kane when he does those very bad tackles, saying that that's part of striker's work and everything. How do you expect those guys to support Arsenal when they support Kane that much? And say 99% of the Premier League games, if you have watched, right, for a thing like that, they would have given penalty. Very
Yeah,
rarely, you don't get a penalty. So it was not something like a 50-50 call in other games or we have got a penalty. It was every time it has been given penalty, and we have also given one. Just because we got this one, commentators and others were saying that
it is
it is
not
not a penalty. See, for them, they get more viewership, more famous when they talk bad against Arsenal, because we talk about the pundits and everybody
Ellen is making it sound like AFTV is running the punditry. But Deepak, why I asked that question is not just about the penalty. The pass to the penalty, the pass that led to the penalty actually came from your favorite player, captain, leader,
it was
legend.
Yeah, it was so what, I believe it started with a corner, I guess, Saka, Saka and ESR and Martinelli, they kept the ball alive, and it came to Saka. I thought he was going to do something stupid and turn back and pass it to Gabriel or someone. But to my surprise, he gave a really smart pass, which completely opened up Chelsea, and Tierney made a great run. It is a soft penalty, to be fair, but we have seen all around Premier League people they have been giving penalties for this. So I don't know what the pundits are talking about.
But when Lacazette stepped up to take a penalty, were you sure that he was going to score?
I am always skeptical about us scoring penalties. So I actually I didn't watch the penalty. I turned around and then I looked at my mobile, I got a notification 1-0, so I was okay, good.
No, I was thinking, where is Aman to take the penalty?
Yeah, he's our best penalty taker.
But since it was, I think on the pitch we just had Lacazette who could do well on penalties, right? We could have had who else?
Probably Saka would have taken.
Saka could have taken. But apart from that, I don't trust anyone else with the penalty.
Yeah,
for that penalty, right?
No.
It doesn't look like a team who could score penalties. Oh, maybe Martinelli could have scored a penalty.
No, why are we thinking
Have you
only
ever
the
seen him score a
strikers can?
penalty? Don't say all
No,
this. Have you ever seen him
only
score?
no. Why are we thinking only the strikers can score a penalty? Set pieces or penalties, anybody can take. And if you
our defenders or any of our other players, you saw El Nini play. He was not able to play one forward pass. You want him to take the penalty?
Not El Nini, players like Tierney, Rob Holding, they have that thing.
No.
If you see even the Community Shield, right? Their penalties were not weak. They were on that perfect corner. So they are capable too. But then with Laka on the pitch, right? Who's our regular penalty taker, it made sense for him to take it. But our defenders are capable of scoring penalties.
That's too much confidence on our defenders, which I don't have. I'm okay with, like I said, taking.
You take every team. No. You take every team. Their defenders will score because they are the people who practice this, more than our strikers for the knockouts.
But Arun,
Sergio Ramos and others, you can just see defenders.
But Arun, I wanted to ask you about the Xhaka free kick incident. But before that, it was a great play by Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka and Gabriel Martinelli. Even before that, we were totally on top of the game against Chelsea, right?
It's funny that you bring that up because Arteta probably has been trying to do the same things with guys like Willian and the senior players. I don't know if it is just Willian because if we took him out of the team, it's pretty much the same guys playing. We got a creator in, and Martinelli instead of Willian. And all of a sudden, this team, something seems to be clicking at the top, something seems to be happening. And this should probably, in my thing, it should probably be a wake-up call for Arteta to never play Willian ever again. The very difference that his absence makes to this team is great. Like, I'm not saying we're playing like peak Barcelona level, but the very fact that we're able to actually, create something should tell him that Willian should never come anywhere near. Coming back to your point, like, yeah, the way those three guys played, it was really nice. It was nice in the sense it was really good to see like youngsters playing fearlessly and trying to take their chances. It was like they got their opportunity. They know they have senior players ahead of them. It was pretty much like an audition for them for a long-term role in the team. And that hunger that seemed to have been missing when like it was all senior players completely changed with the introduction of these people. We did have Saka playing all the time, but with these two guys the things that were happening in the front were really good. So in that sense, like, yeah, the things that led to the play that led to the free kick was something, the kind of play that I think the team is going for. But then we've never had that happen anytime throughout the season. So that was like, in that sense, really good to watch. And yeah, glad that it led to the free kick and that led to goal.
But Arun, regarding the second goal, I mean, even before the second goal, I wanted to ask you about the whole point of ESR coming in at number 10, and it looks completely different, right? I mean, is it just the position or is it the player? Because I felt like he was really pressurizing it, pushing, pulling players out of position. He was moving to the left, moving to the right, combining with Saka, combining with Martinelli. Is it the position or the player?
It's a combination of both, I would say, because we did have Willian playing sort of the auxiliary role, and it was horrible watching him do that. Same thing with Ceballos, but again, those two probably did not have the freedom and the positioning that ESR was able to enjoy. ESR, his role was almost like a proper guy who plays between the lines, like finds that pockets of space and is able to like give the ball in. More than that, he was able to take players out of the game. So that is the quality that you would expect from your creator who's playing between the lines at that point. He just doesn't have to be the one who's like getting that eye of the needle pass. He should also be someone who can like take players out of the game. That's what ESR was doing. And players like Ceballos or Willian, who are probably being used in that position before, there was no need for the opposition to actually do anything with them of that sort, because they knew that they did not have to fall in that trap of getting pulled away from their position, because they knew probably that Willian and Ceballos wouldn't do fuck all. So when you see that things on the pitch, it is the sort of thing, when you see ESR doing it, it seemed like there was a plan all along, and he's executing the plan much better than anyone else has done before. So it's more about the positioning, the freedom, and what he has been able to do, rather than what those guys have not been able to do. That has actually made the difference in the interchange play. We've been talking about the three kids in the front, like having all the interchanges, exchanges. They were moving very fluidly, and ESR was able to find them very easily. So it was not just that one position of player, but everything around them that was happening, the gameplay that was happening, was structured to probably get the maximum out of what ESR could offer. The kid's young. He's got a very good passing range. His recovery is very good. But the thing is, his physical attributes are not the same. What he doesn't have in that sense, he makes up a lot for it with his heart and hunger. So that is where he is now, and that the way in which he was effectively able to use his strengths in that game, taking the ability to see the field all around him, and the ability to know when to play the passes, when to create those open spaces for not just for himself and for the others around him. That made a huge difference. It seemed like this was the plan all along, and the players who were playing were not executing it.
Because even today's game, right? Even in Brighton game, he was doing the same thing. He was pulling stuff up. In fact, he laid a really good ball to Martinelli even today. So Yeah, I mean,
And every time he loses the ball, he's taken off the ball or he finds himself in tight situations. The way in which he gets out of the situations and the way in which Ceballos gets out of the situation are very different. If when you see Ceballos trying to get out of the situation, 90% of the time he puts himself in that situation.
hmm.
So that makes a huge difference for a team when he's playing like as an attacking midfielder, sort of the one trying to create the chances. Because if you're not able to if you're not able to have that consistency and confidence when you have the ball and you lose it so easy at that high spaces, it makes a lot of difference to how the attack can progress further. Because it is something it's taking shape, but then it's being destroyed right away because of these mistakes. With ESR, he sort of knew what he had to do at that role, better than like either Willian or Ceballos who played in there. And his recovery rate, I told about this earlier too. His recovery rate when he loses the ball is really good. He was always going back to get the ball. So that made a huge difference in how the attack was progressing. Nothing was getting stopped. Even if it was getting stopped, the recovery was really fast, so it started all over again very quickly. So when you have that happening continuously, that is a really good sign, and that made the difference.
Deepak, talking about Emile Smith Rowe, right, and the number 10 position. I mean, before this game, when we were talking about midfielders, we have one good midfielder in Partey. So in January, we need to sign someone who to partner with Partey. That's what we were talking about in the last pod. And seeing Emile Smith Rowe in the last two games in the number 10 role, do you think we need to sign a number 10 is a priority, or do you think signing someone to play alongside Partey is a priority, especially with your favorite Saka playing decent games back to back and scoring that absolutely peach of a free kick?
That's like a tough question to answer, I would say. Like,
especially if it has Shaka in it, is that
nothing like that. Like when like Shaka stood over like to take the free kick, I wasn't really expecting him to score. That was like a big shock for me.
But today he got another chance in against Brighton when he got a similar kind of position and he shot.
Similar kind of shot.
Like,
only thing is it missed. No, but like Deepak, just to help you, that was like Zaka's third free kick goal, direct free kick goal for us, like out of 21 attempts.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like I wasn't expecting him to score, but like in the Chelsea game, he was like really good. So, but we have seen like a lot of things like previously, like for example, in the Burnley game, he was like an idiot to get a red card. But he played like a big part in last night's performance, not just the goal, I would say. So I don't know whether we would need to sign like if we have an option to sign two people, I would say like sign both, like a number 10 as well as like a better player than Shaka. But given the circumstances, I would prefer like a number 10 because we cannot put too much pressure on ESR and expect him to perform like for 30 or 30 odd games. So my preference would be to sign a number 10.
Okay.
Or you can sign a single player who can play both number 8 and number 10.
Like
yeah, that's what we expected out of Ceballos, but it turned out to be very bad.
Ceballos was like a bad pick, but there are a lot of people who plays both.
We could try for someone like who plays both of those positions.
Still, come on.
Still, I don't think so. We would be able to sign him. But
let's be realistic. Let's talk about Buendia. I think that's a more realistic option.
Yeah, but he is like a proper number 10, I think. So he wouldn't be able to play a number 8 position for us and like perform like on like toe to toe with Partey. Then Partey has to be like a single DM, which would be like very bad for us because we don't have like mobile defenders like playing behind him, like Holding or Gabriel or someone like that. So I would prefer like a proper number 8. Buendia would be like a great signing, but I don't know how he would turn out to be. So everyone is saying we are looking at Isco, which would turn out to be another Denis Suarez or a Ceballos kind of situation, which I don't really want to happen.
Maybe
But yeah, as I said, like,
maybe
as I said,
it would be that way. Maybe it would be a masterstroke. Maybe we would get an Isco of the old, like
no,
not the
I don't
old
think so.
Isco.
No, but
He has been
because
washed up. Yeah, go ahead, Alan. Yeah.
no, with the amount of people who are deadwoods for us, are like we are not even able to register players. We don't want to take risk with another deadwood.
That is true. But
He could be great. I'm not denying that, but like we are at a position where we cannot take risk.
yeah, that's true. That's true. We need to. First thing is let's get rid of the deadwood. That's the first thing that we should be doing. But getting back to the game, though, I want to ask Ellen about the third goal, Saka goal. Did he mean
No,
it?
I believe it. It was a shot. See, I believe the kid. Like when he says like he saw the goalkeeper before him and he wanted to attack. I believe him for sure.
Deepak is laughing silently. He doesn't believe.
No, for me it was like a fluke.
Because
See,
go ahead.
the perfection of that goal, right? Like I also think like he might not have intended that perfect. Like he might have tried. See, he's not a Carlos Vela to chip above the goalkeeper to score a beautiful goal. Let's be frank on that. He tried it and it came off. Like 99% it might not came off, but that day it came off. Like so, I won't say that he didn't try it. Like that's what I meant when I said like I trust him. Like, but whether like he can score goals like that regularly, the answer is no from me too.
But he has been making the impact for Arsenal for quite some time now. Not just like against Chelsea, against Brighton. Even today, he made the change. Even before that, he was creating a havoc. And even before that game, Saka has been one of our best performers from last season to this season.
Agreed. That's where the issue lies with me because like see, he's still a kid. Like he has. See, I'm not saying about talent-wise or this thing like age is a factor, but like for some of the physical attributes to happen, right? Like age is still a factor, and like this like makes me think a lot about Wilshere's that peak year, like where like he was playing non-stop for England, for Arsenal, every game. Even though Arsenal had good players at that time, like Wilshere was the one who was driving everything. And the same happens with this guy, and this guy has an added pressure of like the entire team's hopes depend on him, unlike Wilshere. So that is also an added pressure, and like because of various reasons, he is continuously playing for England too. Like England had some of their players injured, and he had to play like continuously. So I'm worried like what will happen to him, like whether he will like continue till the end of the season, or like whether like he will have an issue in the next season because of this complete burnout season. Because this is already a very tough season with like a lot of games happening in short period, and in that like he's playing continuously. So I'm little worried for the kid.
But knock on wood that he stays fit. I have a question for you regarding Saka though. What do you think is Saka's worth right now? Like how much would Saka be worth?
See,
60 million?
Based on
70 million?
No, like based on current market thing, right? Like if you take COVID, it will be a lot less. But like if you take
let's take COVID. Without COVID, yeah.
No, without COVID, I don't think like clubs might spend like how we spend for Pepe for a potential, because they might need to see him for a couple more years.
Yeah, like, he has been. See, he has proved in 2 years now.
No. See, that's what
second season. This is his second season,
right? No, that's what I'm saying. Even though he is good, right? Like he's not gone into a world class where like people will be ready to spend 70-80 million for a 20-year-old. So I think like he can easily get around 40-50 million. But
Ellen, I'm sorry to cut you off there, but are you saying this like because of the current market situation?
No, not only that, because of like our team's capability also. Because see, in a team like where the others are not performing, it will be very easy for a person to get stand out.
Diego Jota was worth 45 million.
That's another different thing.
And that is in a
Jota has already played. Jota played for Wolves. People know what he can do. My thing is, I'm just trying to compare the same situation with Joao Felix. Atletico got him for over 100 million.
Yeah.
And he was like, how old was he? He was not even 20 when he got him. They got him, right? So like when they were able to pay like over 100 for a 19-year-old kid pre-COVID. That's why I'm thinking, like, I'm just trying to like understand Ellen's point, just because it's almost a similar situation if you think about it. In fact, Saka has actually played in the English league, whereas João Felix was playing, I think, in the Portuguese league, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So in this situation, wouldn't Saka be worth almost the same, if not more?
That was what I thought, but Ellen's point is like 40 to 50 million is kind of stunning. Deepak, jump in.
Like,
for me, like I would like side with Ellen, because I don't think so he has reached that world-class potential yet. If you take João Felix, there was like a lot of hype around him. Like many teams were trying to sign him, and Atletico got him finally. But if you take Saka, and if you look at other teams, I don't think so he would get into any one of those teams. Like, let's say, like big teams like Madrid or Barcelona or Liverpool or Manchester City. He wouldn't get into first 11. I don't think so anyone would spend like 100 million or 120 million for a potential.
PSG might
keep him on the bench.
PSG
might spend if they let go of Mbappe, but I don't think so. They would like just shell out 120 million for Saka, who is just a winger.
Yeah,
he's not even like a proper goal scorer or someone who guarantees you a goal. He's like a potential who can be. He might turn out to be like as Jay said in the WhatsApp group, like a Robin. But he's still like a kid.
I think he's more rounded than a one-footed Robin. I mean, not as good as Robin, but I think as a player he's more rounded. He's not a one-trick pony. That's what I mean.
I would say it would take 1 or 2 more years to
agree on that
for people to see his potential. I wouldn't say like he has been like world class. Maybe he looks like a world class player because he's playing in a team of average players. So I wouldn't think anyone would be ready to spend like 100 million on Saka right now. And I would say he's not worth 400 million. Maybe like 50 or 60, probably extra 10 or 20 for English quota.
Just to add, like, say, even those performances are really good, right? Like, they are not something like, say, the Wilshere's performance against Barcelona, which was like a standout with all the players around him having like greats around him, even in Barcelona's side. And he was like a standout performer. We haven't seen such a kind of performance from Saka yet. See, that's all the reasons. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't have the capability to become a 80 or 100 million player, but it might like take few more years. See, maybe like we playing in Europa League, right, doesn't show his full potential. It could be like various reasons, because he's not playing with the greats to show his potential too. I'm not blaming him, or like I'm not saying he's not worth it. Like at the moment, right, I don't see like clubs will be ready to spend huge for him, which might change in a couple of years.
Yeah, that is like a valid point. If you see like all the young players who were like signed for like a lot of money, they had like bigger stages to perform. For example, Bale, he scored like a hat-trick against Inter. Everyone took notice of him and Real Madrid signed him. So Saka needs like a bigger stage to perform. Maybe if we get into Champions League and he performs like well against like let's say Bayern or someone, like even Bayern can come in and sign him. Why not?
But we don't want to.
Hold on. Why did you ask?
Of course, we don't want him to go.
I mean, like, that's my point. Like, why did you ask about the sale value? Because are you planning on selling him?
No, because he just signed with us, right, on a long-term contract just before the season, and just wanted to highlight the fact that we have whatever we have right now. This is the worth of the talent that we have signed as an extension. Right?
Because so might be thinking like we can sell him like Coutinho and try to rebuild the team.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that selling someone that young is the solution. If we had, say, someone around 26, 27-year-old with this kind of a sale value, then I would have gone ahead and said, yeah, we could sell and reinvest in the team. But selling a 19, 20-year-old who has his own like whole career ahead of him at this time doesn't make sense to me at all. But Arun, I just wanted to get to you with another important question actually, and you can see that it's about Pepe.
Okay.
So the thing is, Tierney and Martinelli has not played together much, and the same with Saka and Bellerin. Right, these guys have not played together much because Saka usually plays on the other side, Bellerin plays on. So the whole thing, but you can see that these two partnerships are developing. Like especially Tierney and Martinelli, right? You can see that they have this kind of a telepathic connection about each other. And
okay. Picasso, let's say that they're playing well together. Telepathic connection cannot be established in 2 games.
yeah, I know.
Let's not get too.
No, I'm not overhyping them. I'm just saying that we have not seen, even before this game, the last part, we were talking about how there are no partnerships on the pitch, and these look like partnerships on the pitch, right? And why I said telepathic is, in the game when Martinelli got substituted and then Pepe
That's because
came
you
in.
have an agenda against Pepe. That's why you said.
No. That's totally against the thing. So when Pepe came in, Tierney tried to make a pass and Pepe didn't go in. If you guys remember that incident, Pepe didn't run, and then Tierney kind of like went all Dragon Ball Z kind of thing on him. Like, why didn't you make the run? So why? What is happening? Even against Brighton, I was really thinking that in today's game that Pepe would get a chance ahead of someone else, because it's such a short time. They had a really burnout game against Chelsea, so I thought at least one of the three among like Martinelli, ESR, and Saka would be dropped in favor of Pepe. What is happening with Pepe, and why is he not able to make that connection with any player, like not Bellerin, not Tierney? I mean, we were making a point before now about how Bellerin is not helping Pepe or Willian expressing themselves, but these 2 games, Saka has proved that it goes both ways.
Yes, I'm just trying to think of an answer for that question, and it is very difficult to come with one that would actually make sense without being like all like Pepe fan. So I know I'm honestly, why is he not being able to form a connection is a question that I have absolutely no answer for. Honestly, I'm trying to think. I'm really trying to think. I do not know what's happening because um, the thing is that the skill set that Saka possesses is very different from what Pepe does. Pepe is more of the kind of player that you want on a counter, like the guy who is able to finish things off and who is able to like feed off balls rather than the one who is supposed to be creating these like chances.
Isn't that
And
Martinelli again?
sorry.
Isn't that the same skill Martinelli has?
Yes, that's the thing. Martinelli has the skill, but in addition to having the skill, Martinelli also presses like a madman.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, he is actually like I was just about to make that. Martinelli reminds me so much of Alexis Sanchez. The way he runs around the pitch, the way he
like even today in the game against Brighton, there's a ball lost, and Brighton are on the attack and they start moving. They will get very close to the like they're in the second third. They're moving faster in the second third. He anticipates. He's actually running behind the guy having the ball. He anticipates the pass and he accelerates just to the right time to make that interception. That is something that I have never seen Pepe do, because he's always like the kind of guy who's able to finish. He's not roaming all around the pitch. He's not like able to create those chances for others. He's waiting for the chances to come to him. Right now, at this point, the only thing that I can tell you is I would like to see him play with a number 10. Like more often, just to see what he could possibly do, because we've never had a situation for him, at least in this season under Arteta, where he's actually played with a proper number 10. Maybe he would be able to establish a connection with the proper number 10, and that's the connection that we are actually looking for. Coming back to your point about like him missing that pass there, that is inexcusable. You don't really need to establish a connection with anyone to get a simple pass.
Yeah.
So that was very disappointing. But for me, I have been a very huge vocal fan of Pepe, backed him all the way along. But if this team definitely doesn't need a player like him, then we should definitely try to cut our losses. Like if things don't seem to be working out at the end of the season, because we cannot. If a team is progressing in a certain direction, and we cannot even afford a normal player to have the luxury that Pepe does. Like Pepe is being seen as a luxury player right now. So
So that's something that I'm struggling to understand. Why should we sell him? If we feel that we still have a good player in our hands, we could send him out on loan. He's 22 or 23, right?
he's
How old is it?
23, 24. No, but
Yeah.
the thing is, if he's
Picasso,
not able
Picasso.
to fit in the
There are two
system,
things.
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Alan. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Arun. Like there is another thing, Arun. Like, see, you take Messi for example. Like he might be a world-class player. He can do anything, but he will not fit into a Mourinho's team, a defensive team.
Yeah, I mean,
Like that, right? Some people, right, will not fit into like some setup. See, that's the issue. Like Pepe is having. Pepe in his very first season had like 13 goals and 13 assists. So there is a player with potential for sure, but like that is not at all seen anywhere in this season. Or like after Arteta came in, like he was like showing very glimpses like of that potential. So it is nothing to do with Arteta also, because Arteta plays in some style which is not suiting him, and like it
No,
is somewhere like both the
no, my question.
player and the coach are having like not fit. So even if you send him for loan, right, like you ask him to like change and play in a different way, that is not going to get maximum out of Pepe, because his way of playing is completely different. We're asking him to lose all his skill set to play in a different way.
No, I'm not.
Fine tuning
See,
is better.
the
Adding
question.
some skill is better.
No, the question for me is not about whether he's a good player, whether he's no, that's not it. Whenever we talk about Pepe, the thing we talk about is let's cut our losses and sell him. Why? Why should we cut our losses and
No,
sell him?
the
Let
reason
us
is
send him out on
no.
loan, and if he proves there, his price is going to go up, and then we could sell him or whatever we can do with
that
him.
I agree.
Why should we
No,
cut
that I
our
agree.
losses?
This last year, right? Yeah, this last year, right? Like we have made sure that like is like price point has come down because of various other factors. Like I'm not blaming Pepe for that. I'm not blaming the management also, because it's not that fault alone. Like it's like the system and everything doesn't suit him. But then again, right, if you're sending in for loan and if he performs badly, because not many clubs like who can use his skill set directly, right? He's not like going to be somebody like who can help a relegation team or anything kind of that. Like, so if his performance are going to be not visible there also, his prices will go even more down. But now, right, at least like he has shown like the last year it was like 13 plus 13. And this year, Lalo, like he has not performed to his potential. It might look like a bad form, or it might look like that, and there will be a lot more teams ready to buy him. That's why, like Arun is saying, if he is not in our future plans or is like long-term plan is not going to suit us, it's better to sell him.
But it doesn't
But like,
look.
see, one thing which I also add here is like we should actually try him, because like, see, we are saying Saka is able to do well, but like what we were also discussing some time back there is how Emile Smith Rowe is capable of bringing players towards him. So what that happens is like it frees the wingers. Whereas Pepe didn't have that luxury. Like whoever was playing before as number 10, like whatever be the player, like they were all like not like bringing any of the defenders to them, or even our strikers, right? They were not moving around to bring the defenders along with them. So every defenders, right, were able to concentrate on the wingers, and Pepe's skill set, right, doesn't allow him to like, because he tries to dribble, and like even great dribblers, right, will not find always successful. Like when there are good defenders against him or physical defenders against them, and that is what like he is like struggling. But now with like say a proper 10, even Emile Smith Rowe, if he is going to bring the defenders, right, he might get more open spaces and he might be an asset to us for us. So my answer will be like not to sell him or loan him, but like at least like have a proper number 10 or like a creative player, and then try to see whether he's able to adapt or not. If not, then go and think about selling, but like give him that opportunity before you take a decision on him.
Yeah, it seemed like that, because even after the game, Arteta mentioned about Pepe and he was very positive about it. But moving the discussion, Deepak, talking about the strikers, today against Brighton, Auba started and he looked not the Auba that we know of. But then Laka came in and he scored actually a really good goal. His finishing was really top notch for the goal he scored today. So what are your thoughts? Like, is Auba through the cliff, or is it just a loss of form? For me, the most concerning factor is today's game. There were a few chances when he was allowed to run to the ball and he looked really out of pace.
Yeah.
Did he look the same way to you?
Oh yeah, it looked like he lost like a lot of like his space, which is his like biggest asset.
Mm-hmm.
So with this setup, like I wouldn't think so he would fit in this team. He cannot do what Lacazette does in that role because Lacazette brings everyone into the play. As well as I think he cannot do the same thing what Martinelli is doing on the left, which like he chases like a madman. But I would give him like a lot of time because he was the person who carried us around for past 2 years. So the thing which is surprising me is like the loss of form, like the sudden dip of form.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
He was like really good against Fulham. Like he scored a great goal, and we thought like, okay, here we go again. He will save us this season too. But I don't know what happened with him. Hopefully, he turns it around. But given the team or which we are moving forward with, I don't think so he would fit in the team. But hopefully Arteta finds some way to keep our best striker in the team.
Hmm. I don't. But talking about Aubameyang, with his form and everything, should the captaincy go to Tierney? Because he looks absolutely a very good captain material, not a future captain, a captain now.
And I don't think so. It's true that Auba shouldn't be the captain, but I don't think he has done. I mean, I don't know what sort of a message it would send to the player and to the rest of the team and the fans if the captain is being changed midway through the season for no fault of his. It's not like he's done anything shitty like what Saka did. That doesn't warrant like a change of captaincy. If you're just going to be talking about the burden of captaincy, there's no burden of captaincy in football as it is in other sports because the captain's role is not as defined or as important for it to affect your performance on the pitch. So again, on that aspect, you cannot take the captaincy away from him. So without any concrete reason, just on the notion that there should be another captain who could perform well, captain at the beginning of the season for a reason, and I don't know. I'm not privy to that reason. I don't know if any of us is. It probably could have just been that we wanted to give him a fat contract and make him stay. So the captaincy could have been a motivating factor, or seen as a motivating factor. But if you ask me if we were to change the captain mid-season, no, I would never agree to that because he hasn't done anything that warrants removal from captaincy, a stripping of captaincy, form, and like commanding the ability to command your troops and rally them. Xhaka was supposed to be the best at that, and we saw what happened with him as the captain. So I really don't see enough reasons for us to be stripping him of his captaincy and awarding it to Katie right now. Maybe like next season, if things don't, even next season, if you do it, yeah, that would make sense because it's the beginning of the season. But right now, I really don't see the need or the requirement for him to not be the captain right now.
Mm. I'm not asking if Auba should be stripped of captaincy. I mean, yeah, that is one point that we could make. But my question was more like, is how good is Tierney looking like a captain? That was my intention to it.
Right? He's again a standout player. I agree. He's been like one of the best performers this season.
No, not just the standout player part of it. Even the build of him, the way he tucks in his t-shirt, the way no matter how cold it is, he's still wearing this half sleeve shirt, and he's making this like even the other game where he got into a fight with someone, you could feel that captaincy around him, carrying of the Tesco bag, the Arsenal typical captain.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know if like carrying the Tesco bag and just wearing a t-shirt, yeah, it makes him look like a hard man, but not a captaincy material in my eyes. If you're talking about captaincy, yeah, I mean like Because you want players who on the pitch seem like they are giving their 100% and more as
Yeah.
your captains, because those are the guys, like I said already,
No,
football is
not just on the pitch, right? Even during the post match interviews, even after the
yeah,
game in Instagram, he comes out and says stuff which is
yeah.
straight. And when Auba talks about it, I mean, I've had this same complaint about Aubameyang, right? I think I mentioned this in an earlier pod where I was mentioning that he came out after he scored a goal. He never comes
Yeah,
out when we are in a rut. But so those are the things that I meant when Tierney looks more like a captain.
no, I agree with you. I agree with you. Like when I meant 100% on the pitch, yeah, I'll go. I'll put it this way, okay? So for me, the captain of the football club embodies the club and its values more than anything else, because that is the role. In fact, when you think about it, that is the only role probably that the captain has. He's not going to be setting plays. He's not going to be directing plays. He's not going to be. He probably plays a role in making sure that the plans of the manager are being executed properly on the pitch. But beyond that, the captain in football doesn't really have as big a role as it is being made out to seem. We've had guys as great captains. They're termed as great captains because of the things they do on the pitch that is very in line with the fans. That is very in line. The fans see them as one of their own because they see the club in that player. Case in point, Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard was a very good player, but was he as good as Scholes? No. He was very good in the sense he was able to galvanize the people around him by doing a few things and by embodying the club and what it means completely. So that is where you see him being the captain. Now you have guys like Harry Maguire being captains. So it kind of like diminishes the role that the captain really has on the pitch. I agree. KT is looking more and more like a captain material, but that is probably because he looks like a hard man without a lot of fuss. So that is making you naturally think that he would probably be a very good captain because he does the basics right, and he seems like someone who doesn't like go around strutting like a fucking peacock like what Baron does, or like is more like disrespectful, if I could use the word, like Xhaka. He's very simple and he's doing. That's probably what making you think that he could be proper captain material, and I'm not opposed to that. Even I see him as someone who could be a very good captain because of the effort that he puts on the field, and he doesn't make a big deal of it. That's another huge thing. He sees this as a part of his daily thing. Like if we're going to work and we do our work, he sees it a bit of that with like the love added to it that most of us might not be having for our jobs. So like it's keeping the
Definitely
basics right
not me.
with all the love. So that's where I think he's seeming more like someone who could be that leader that the team needs. But just going back to what you were talking about, the Tesco bag and like being the hard man and all that, social media to a team and Chris Wheatley are making sure that we get all this and we get this image in our mind that this guy is the next best thing to come from Scotland since Mel Gibson and Braveheart. So that's what they make us think all the time. So so that's all PR and social media for me. But yeah, he does definitely look like a good guy who would be a good captain.
Yeah, but talking from the very good player to actually someone questionable, Deepak, do you think this is the end of Willian? I mean, I'm not saying that he's not going to play for us, but do you think this is a point where we should be questioning, or Arteta should be questioning playing Willian?
Definitely. I wasn't a fan like when we signed Willian. He's like a proven like Chelsea player or like a Premier League player, but he hasn't done enough to warranty like a 200k like week per contract. He can be like a good bench player, but I wouldn't start him anywhere like in any of these matches. Probably we can start him in Europa or like Carabao Cup, not even FA Cup, which I want us to win. Yeah, we are out of the Carabao Cup actually. Yeah, so I just want him to start in Europa, but since we have like progress to the other stages, I don't even want him to start those matches. Probably come in as a sub around 80th minute to time waste.
So
That is the
so
maximum.
so my question is why I brought in Willian was we have let's put the players on the wing that could play on the wing, right? Martinelli, Saka, Nelson, Pepe, and then Willian. Oba could play on the wing too. So we have 6 players, right? Potentially, if we remove Oba off it, like 5 players potentially for the 2 spots. So what is your spot on Willian on this? Like Saka gets ahead of Willian, obviously. Martinelli might get ahead of Willian.
Martinelli.
Pepe, do you think Pepe gets ahead of
No,
Willian?
he should get ahead of Willian. Not might. Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay, Nelson or Willian?
I would say Willian.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's why I brought that up. Come on,
See,
Arun.
like the one thing like I like about Willian is he doesn't lose the ball. He's like one player who carries the ball. The thing, he doesn't do anything with it. Let's leave that aside. So he is someone who doesn't lose the ball often. I don't think so. Nelson, whatever I have seen him play, he has been good, but he loses the ball, which leads us to like a lot of counters because he plays along with Bellerin, who always comes forward and he struts backwards. So one thing I see is for me, Willian is head of Nelson. Maybe Arun has a different point. Let him talk about it.
Arun?
No, for me, Nelson is Willian is someone I don't want anywhere near the team. You know, like no, it's not because of how he's played. It's more about the disappointment that came with it. You know, because this is a guy who has won almost there is everything to win with Chelsea. He's won like everything that there is to win at the club level. He was like really good for them. He did a certain few things for Chelsea, and he did them really well. You know, so it was never like he was a bad player for them. He was never an outstanding player because they always had the Eden Hazards or like the Oscars or people around him who were grabbing all the headlines. But Willian was always a consistent performer for Chelsea, and it was probably because of that reason. He wanted to stay in London. That's another totally different point. But Mourinho and Tottenham were interested in him.
Yeah.
So given
Chelsea
all
wanted
this
to
and
retain
given-
him. So
Exactly. They wanted to give him a 1-year contract, and that doesn't happen just like that. They wanted to give him a 1-year contract. Tottenham wanted him, Mourinho wanted him. And in this team, right from the beginning, the things have not been working out for him. He came out and said he's not clear about his position, the play that we are doing. And then you find a guy like Martinelli coming in and making all the difference that William was supposed to make in the first place. Now think about it. Martinelli is not even 20. Willian is 30. You could argue that it's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks, but then the old dog is fucking getting paid 200K per week to learn new tricks and play them.
no, the old dog should be able to play at least the tricks that he knows
Exactly.
of, right?
Exactly. So that's my thing. Like when he's never been able to do in all the games that he's played. In 11 PL games, he's had one shot on target, one shot. That is crazy considering a player of his caliber earning 200K. That is crazy. We already have like a 350K sized problem sitting in the dressing room, not even the dressing room, sitting at home and tweeting. And we have Alba already on 300K not performing. With that situation, this guy, I really don't see how he can get ahead of Nelson when in the chances that Nelson has got this season, he's always performed. In all the chances that he's got, limited number of chances that he's got, he's always performed. So given that, I really don't see how a continuous non-performer would be able to get into the team over a guy. Again, what sort of a message will they give to a guy like Nelson just because this guy's a senior and he's earning 200K, he's playing ahead of me, So even though I'm putting in all the performances, if Willian comes back, if and when Willian comes back, unless Martinelli gets off form or injured, he should continue playing. The minute you take him off and Willian plays, that's it. That's the end. That shows like what the manager is trying to do. So For me, Williams should be nowhere near the team. Maybe like the FA Cup or Europa League group stages. That's where I see him. Same as Pepe right now. But no, I don't see him like nowhere near the PL team. No.
Okay.
Like just to add one thing here, because so like Williams' career with us is almost over. Like when we didn't take action against him when he went to Dubai.
Dubai, yeah.
See, the simple reason is like he thinks like he's more valuable now. Like he can do anything, kind of thing. And like, see it. You just saw like this week also COVID, because of COVID, matches have been cancelled. Like a lot of news we are getting from various teams like has been affected. See, for us, Gabriel, Lewis, and Willian not starting mainly because of their contact with Jesus, like during that Carabao Cup match, and like that kind of an impact it has. And like he didn't like inform the team also when he went there in all these bio bubbles and everything. Like that's a very serious offense, and like he was not at all punished for that. See, it could be match fee or anything, some sort of punishment openly in the media, like nothing was coming. And that means, right, it gave him a free walk. And that has affected his performance even more. Like he was bad before also, but at least like that can be said, like like he has just played few games with us, like and he could turn it around. But after that, right, I don't see the anger or I don't see the push for him to do something good. And I think like with that incident, right, his career is almost over with us. I don't expect him to do good even in a couple of years.
I am not a fan of Willian, but yeah, I agree with most of the things that you guys said. But when Arun was talking about Mourinho, I wanted to bring that to Deepak. Mourinho, after he faced us and he actually won against us, his team is not doing well. All this talk initially about how Spurs were challenging for the title. Deepak, do you have an answer for that? Spurs challenging title?
I still feel they would challenge for the title.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, because their team is really
challenging
good.
And winning is different.
No,
so
even
challenging.
I'm not
saying
they're going to win the Premier League or something. See, like they are like a really good team.
Really, apart from Kane, Son, and Højbjerg, I don't see the team having anyone else who's good enough.
Why not? They have like Reguilon.
Come on.
Ndombele is good. Reguilon is like a player. He's a player who I feel is like on par with Tierney.
He's
like really good.
I'm not convinced yet. And
they have like really good players from our team. Not even one person would get into the team.
See,
I don't think so.
I might be against you here, Picasso. Like, no, if you take them, right, they also have people as backup if somebody gets injured. See, leave Son and Kane, like they are world-class players. Like you can't get a backup for them. But like if you take any other position, see, you take a Regulian's position or you take Aurier's position, like say they have an equal and capable backup. See, maybe the skill set will be a little bit different. The way they have to fine-tune might be different, but they have good backups. A title challenging team, right, should have good backups. We don't have such kind of backups.
I'm still saying it's a combination of both, and the combination is not working. The way you guys are talking about, the way you guys were talking about how Mourinho masterclass is happening is not happening.
See, the December
that is my whole point.
No. December period, right? Like you cannot say that like just because of few losses or this thing, because it happens to most of the teams because of the continuous games they play. And this year, right, if you take Tottenham Hotspur, even at the September period, they had to play more games than the other teams, and they are still competing for the league, which shows like
they have played the most number of matches among the Premier League teams.
Yeah, but are they really competing for the title now? Do you still think that
they are competing for the title? They are just like 6 points of the top of the table. They can't really compete.
That is like us telling we are 6 points off of Chelsea.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. Like we will challenge top 6 if we win the next 3 or 4 matches.
Come on, that's too much
this year, right? No, this year, right? Like it's too crazy. We cannot rule out whatever like Deepak is saying. Like if we continuously win 4 or 5 games, right? Like all of a sudden you look at the top 5 or a top 6 position. You take Southampton, like they are not consistently good, but like they've won like 4 or 5 games on the trot, and they are in the top 6 for a longer period. That kind of a crazy season it is. Like no, even Liverpool for that matter, right? Like they are at the top during the Christmas period. But if you see, right, like they're not like consistently top, or like there's a big gap between like say a top 10 and like Liverpool. It's very small. See, that kind of a gap it would have been like with the top 6 and Liverpool itself in the past, or like the title winning team. This season is a crazy team.
See, I understand.
If we have a undefeated period like what Emery had, right, we can even challenge the title this season, even after all of this.
Come on, guys. So
Hey, the best example is like United. They lost. They had like their worst start like for 7 or like
15th,
8.
16th along with us when they lost.
Yeah, and they just simply flew under the radar by winning 6 or 7 matches, and they're like
now
near the
they're
top of
second.
Liverpool. Yeah, so they are just 2 points off Liverpool, and they are facing Liverpool in like one or two matches.
And
if they win,
didn't United have a game in hand? They
No,
also
no.
have a game in hand, right?
Both have played 15 now.
Yeah, both have played 15. Yeah.
no, my question was that it's not about whether they are challenging for title or whatever, but it's not a Mourinho masterclass season. Deepak, I want you to accept that it's not a Mourinho masterclass season.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
Yes.
Yeah, but if he wins like even a single trophy for them, I would say it is a masterclass because first is winning a title.
No, I mean, I don't want them to win a title. Anyways, Arun,
They can definitely win a Carabao Cup now because they are facing Brentford in semi-final.
Yeah, but then
Final,
Sotapep
they
is
can
there.
they easily beat them in the league.
Yeah,
So anything
Pep and Carabao Cup, he's very different. He wins the Carabao Cup if not for anything. But Arun,
hopefully they don't win. Let's see.
Yeah, Arun, I wanted to get your thoughts on something else. The defending side of things, actually. You have always been, a critic of Rob Holding.
Yeah.
But he has been putting up decent performance after decent performance, and especially on the right, he's keeping out David Lewis, Mustafi. Take away the last couple of games where David Lewis is whatever he is, but he is for this season at least keeping out a lot of players on the right, and he has been putting decent performance after decent performance. So
should I be convinced?
I'm asking you, are you convinced?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
I'm on support with Arun here. Like, see, he came from Bolton. Like, so he should be good at his heading. And that's the only thing he has shown in the last 2 games. Also, he made mistakes even against Chelsea game, which were not punished.
Exactly.
No, Arun.
Like,
yeah, because Ellen, sorry, I just wanted to check with Arun on this one really, because yeah, he did make mistakes, but he is looking better than most of our centre backs, apart from Gabriel.
Yeah, but that's a very bad yardstick. That's very bad parameters that you're comparing him against. You're comparing him against shit, and you're saying he's good. He has to be good at this point. You're just comparing him against Mustafi, Lewis, and the other guys. You're not comparing him against like a good defender.
Let's okay. So let's take out, say, do you think he is making, at least this season, at least this couple of games, he's making the top 10 defenders in Premier League?
No.
Really?
What makes you think that? Why?
Do you think Gabriel makes a top 10 in Premier League?
No.
Gabriel has been good, but top 10 in the first season, I would never agree to that. I would like to see him till the end of the season. Holding would never top. No, my God, no. Top 10. You're kidding me, right?
Even Gabriel
a top 10 defender would not make the mistakes that he does. He's nowhere near the top 10, nowhere near the top 20 even. My God, no.
No, why I asked that question is because January is coming up again.
Yeah.
We could. I don't think we'll sign a centre back, but we could kind of register and deregister some people. right?
Yeah.
We are not
But the-
using. It looks like we are phasing out David Lewis. It looks like we are phasing out Mustafi. Even if we are not phasing out David Lewis, we look like we are phasing out Mustafi, at least in the league. We are not giving him any chance to play in the league this season, and he has not been like injured, or he has not had any situation which is pushing him out. Just that his
yeah, because he's
performances.
garbage.
Yeah, he's
Because
garbage.
he's
Yes.
garbage, and you're comparing Holding with him.
No. My
Holding
question.
has to look good.
No, my question is why I brought Holding into the discussion in this point is that we have a chance to deregister some of the players. We could deregister. If we are not able to sell it, we have shown that we could deregister some players. Do you want us to deregister Mustafi or any one defender and bring in Chambers or Saliba into this team?
Yeah.
And do you want?
My God, deregister all of them, not just one.
Okay. So
Like, I mean-
no, my question is like, would Saliba or Chambers get in ahead of Holding at this moment?
But honestly, it's too right now. It's very difficult to make a judgment because we've never seen Saliba play in the Premier League. He played for the under-23s. He was not great there. He got a red card that was made a big news. And then same thing with Chambers. Chambers played very few games under Arteta as a centre back. He was decent in those games. I don't know if you remember. I don't remember if he played centre back or right back. He was decent in those games, but nothing that would warrant a continuous run of games right now. Primarily because players who were awesome last season have been struggling this season. So it's not like a consistent thing that is going on at the club. So I really don't have a proper answer for your question, but it would be very easy for someone like Chambers to come in and displace Holding in the team just because of how clumsy Holding can be and how many mistakes he can make. The kind of mistakes that he makes, even though he plays well, he's good. He's an average player. He's a very average player. Definitely worth more than the 2 million that we paid for, but not someone who should be starting games week in, week out for us. Even if he puts in consistent performance throughout this season and he's able to help the team, I would just regard him as a good backup. Because there are many players across the league who have really good one season and then go missing the very next season, or their form just deteriorates or doesn't improve. Rather, they plateau. I see Holding as a player who probably, if he gets a good run of games this season, would plateau. He's not going to go beyond the level that he's playing right now.
Okay, so we've been talking for a long time. Let's wrap this up with predictions for the next game. Ellen, I'll start with you because you had a really close prediction for Chelsea, which we didn't put it out on the pod. So I'm starting with you regarding the predictions for the next game.
Okay, next game also, I believe the youngsters will start because Premier League has this 10-day period or something where people have to quarantine. So I don't expect Willian or Luis or Gabriel to come. So with that assumption, right, I'm predicting us to win 2-0.
He's not coming all of January.
Okay, then it should be a 2-0 win.
Okay, Deepak, what's your prediction?
I'm predicting for a 2-1 win for us.
Okay, that's two people predicting a win. Arun, are you going to get onto the trend?
Not a loss. I think it will be a 1-1 or a 1-0 win for us.
Okay, I'll take it as a 1-0 win for us. And
for me, more a 1-1 draw. More a 1-1 draw than a win.
Okay. Okay, and as usual, I'm predicting a win. Not because of, I don't know. I do believe it this time, but it's more of a hope from me. And hopefully we'll meet back again with some smiles and climbing up the table a little bit more.
Because of just not a prediction, but again sort of a league prediction, you can say. That penalty saved by Lenners, right? I feel that is a turning point for this season for us.
Okay. Turning point is a penalty save. Okay, hopefully I really wish that we turn something around the corner and it's not a false dawn like how we had against United win, and we get to see our team go on a run and bring back some joy of watching Arsenal again. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining in. It's been a nice pod. And meet you after the next game. Bye-bye.
And that is the end of the pod. For more Arsenal-related content, please like, subscribe, and share to the Away Gunners podcast. See you next week.